This is Seawolves. Storm or not.
Good morning, Seawolves. Welcome to this week's edition to Seawolves Storm or Not. I'm Missy Jones.
And I'm John Neary. Just a reminder, this is a collaboration between the students at Stony Brook School of Marine and Atmospheric Sciences and the students of Stony Brook School of Communication and Journalism.
We're beginning the 9th week of the semester, and as gloomy as last week's weather made us feel, the news just adds to the dour mood. A United Nations report on the climate has just warned that the climate time bomb is ticking and called for nations, including the U.S., to take more aggressive action to curb carbon emissions. As the Secretary General of the United Nations, Mr. Antonio Guterres, puts it,
"Dear friends, humanity is on thin ice, and that ice is melting fast. As today's report of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, details, humans are responsible for virtually all global heating over the last 200 years.
Some of the things mentioned in the latest string of chaotic climate predictions are more intense heat waves and heavier rainfall. Later, the report outlined an agenda for nations to follow in order to try and reverse these man-made climate changes. The Secretary General urges national leaders to phase out coal by 2040 and for governments to stop funding new gas and oil companies.
And adding to our apprehensions, Russian President Vladimir Putin is stationing tactical nuclear weapons in Belarus. That means that the threat of nuclear attack by missiles is coming closer to our NATO allies, Poland and Lithuania, not to forget war-torn Ukraine. Experts say these smaller weapons are not an immediate threat, but hearing about nuclear arms being moved around is frightening.
It sure is. Opposed to our parents that grew up during the Cold War, I didn't hear about nuclear weapons like they did every day. But, on a brighter note, let's get to the one-day forecast with Jay Burnett.
Good morning, Seawolves. Today's weather is pretty pleasant. We have a high of 56 degrees, a low of 36 degrees, with winds reaching 7 miles per hour from the southeast. Today, it'll be partly cloudy with a chance of rain overnight, so please enjoy your afternoon. Don't forget your umbrella. Back to you at the studio.
Thanks, Jay. It's finally starting to feel like spring has sprung.
It definitely is, and it seems like those April showers are starting early. I don't know about you, John, but waking up after the sun is already shining bright is definitely taking me and a lot of us out of our seasonal slump from the winter.
For sure. Now, to tell us everything about the latest game theory in March Madness, let's turn to what we'd like to call Cut to the Chase with our sports reporter, Chase Carucci. Chase?
Thanks, John. Millions of kids nationwide dream of being the next Derek Jeter. Playing shortstop for the New York Yankees is arguably the most iconic role in sports. Well, yesterday, Yankees management closed applications for the job, and the Yankees' #1 overall prospect, Anthony Volpe, received the call that all youngsters have longed for. The 21-year-old New Jersey native is the first Yankee making his debut under 22 years old since the captain, Derek Jeter. History repeats itself once again as the Yankees look toward Thursday's opening day against the San Francisco Giants in the Bronx. Shifting to what is now the biggest spending team in New York, the Mets will begin their World Series campaign on the road in Miami with Max Scherzer on the bump. In contrast to the Yankees youth movement, the Mets questionably sent their 23-year-old Brett Baty back to AAA. I say questionably because Mets fans were begging their management to give Baty the job at third base given his scorching hot spring. Experts say Baty will be called up soon enough to aid the Mets in pursuit of their first World Series championship since 1986. Last week, I called March Madness mad. Well, this week, it's insanity. It's the first Final Four since 1970, with 3 teams making their first appearance with San Diego State University, Florida Atlantic University, and U of Miami. Our Husky neighbors across the Sound are taking their first steps in the big Final Four dance since 2014. In the control room, our consensus matchup is FAU against UConn in the national championship. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Chase. If Missy and I are any example, there's not a lot of enthusiasm for March Madness and the Final Four on this campus. Maybe that's because our hopes of Seawolf participation died much earlier in the year. To find out more about the appropriate attire at Yankee Stadium, let's go to the 7-day forecast with our budding meteorologist, Costa Secularitis. Costa?
Thanks, John. As you can see behind me, we have a beautiful and sunny start to the day brought to you by EarthCam. Monday will have a high of 56 with a low of 36 with rain tonight. The rain should end early Tuesday morning. However, it will leave cloudy skies and fog in the morning with high around 49 and a low around 36. Wednesday and Thursday will have highs in the upper 40s to lower 50s under sunny skies and lows down near freezing, so bundle up. On Friday, we have cloudy skies with a high around 55 and a low of 47 as a low pressure system moves in overnight, bringing us rain that continues on Saturday with a mild 65-degree high temperature and a low of 37. Sunday is turning really nice with a high of 51 and a low of 38 under sunny skies. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Kosa, for the 7-day forecast. As weather gets warmer, we have plenty of fun things to do here on Long Island. From beaches to bars, Isha Butt shares with us a glimpse from Freeport on the Nautical Mile.
Long Island is not all beaches and strip malls, but just 43 miles south of South P lays the beautiful town of Freeport, and I'm currently at one of its assets, the Nautical Mile. In colonial times, it served as an oyster harvesting community, then resorting to New York's theater community. Now it brags about its nautical mile. Day or night, it's a real destination, one that makes people smile.
On the Nautical Mile. That's my favorite place for walking. I come in the park, I walk the Nautical Mile, then I go down to Front Street to Guy Lombardo, walk around the park. And sometimes I've walked as much as 14 plus miles a day in one day. So I like walking, but I wish I had a girlfriend to walk with, but I don't know. But
The seafood gathering economy that built this village is gone. The eateries here feature things from the sea. And in the south part of town, there are still resident fishing fleets. And if you want to brave the Atlantic, there are charter boats. Many then and now love a sweet treat, and the mile still features bars, with last century residents adopting the name Freeport because ship captains were not charged customs to land their cargo here. With nothing much affordable these days, a Seawolf is definitely on a budget. And the Nautical Mile is the place to be for that, with cheap, affordable drinks and seafood. The only thing that is not cheap is the violations here, which is way more than you will ever expect on campus. It is definitely not a free port. For storm or not, I am Isha Butt, freezing in Freeport.
Thanks, Isha, and thanks for the warning. I hate parking fees here on campus.
Parking fines. This week, we'll see the continued protests of paid parking proposals, as well as a storm of citations here on campus. That's all we have this week from Seawolves Storm or Not. I'm John Neary.
And I'm Missy Jones. Have a great day, Seawolves.
This is Seawolves Storm or Not.